Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB. Today is the 4th of November 2024, and so far as the price of Bitcoin and the global cryptocurrency market is concerned, guys, unfortunately the numbers are not looking good at all, and the global cryptocurrency market has gone down miserably since the last 72 hours. Now, in the episode that was released on the 31st of October, guys, the global cryptocurrency market was at $2.44 trillion, but today it is down to $2.24 trillion. Now look guys, there is a very simple reason as to why there is so much of volatility, and that is the US election, isn't it? And because of that, guys, a lot of whales and notorious traders, they are definitely going to manipulate the market. And immediately after the US election, guys, on the 7th of November, Federal Chair Jerome Powell will be making a decision whether he wants to keep the interest rate, reduce the interest rate, or in worst cases increase the interest rate. Now look guys, if President Donald Trump gets re-elected, I'm pretty much sure the prices of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies will be pumping up to new heights. I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if Bitcoin does reach a new all-time high only because of that news. So definitely keep an eye on that. Now what I will be doing, guys, is when the FOMC meeting will be out, I'll definitely go ahead and discuss the details of that in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast. Now since the last few days, guys, there is massive news regarding MicroStrategy, isn't it? And looks like Michael Saylor, he's raising $42 billion. And that is his capital plan connected to Bitcoin. So what I'll do is, guys, I'll go ahead and discuss what this plan is, because this plan includes a $21 billion from equity as well as $21 billion from fixed income securities over 3 years, and looks like he's aiming a Bitcoin yield targeting 6 to 10% from 2025 and 2027. So I'll go ahead and give out more information regarding this. Now what I'll also do is, guys, I'll go ahead and share what is the positive implication regarding this news and what is the negative implication regarding this as well, and let me know, guys, what are your thoughts regarding this. Now the second news, guys, is definitely unfortunate news, and this is to do with the cryptocurrency exchange called as M2. And over the weekend, guys, they suffered a severe breach which resulted in a loss of $13.7 million. So we'll definitely go ahead and explore that. But the good news is that this matter seems to have solved, and looks like they are reimbursing people who are affected by this as well. But really unfortunate and interesting news. Now the next news, guys, is surrounding ETF. And look, guys, ever since BlackRock got into the spot Bitcoin ETF world, there are so many different spot ETFs, isn't it? Right now, guys, there is Solana ETF approval on the way, but the chances of that to be approved is really slim. But in today's episode, guys, we will be going ahead and discussing an XRP ETF and Swiss ETF Assure, that is 21 shares, guys. They have filed an S1 form with the United Securities and Exchange Commission, and they want to launch a spot fund that tracks the price of XRP. So it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, if this ETF does get approved. Now regarding Ripple, guys, there is an interesting news as well, and looks like there's a lot of dumping going on, and there's an unprecedented 470 million XRP for sale. So we'll definitely go and touch base on that news. Now the final news, guys, is regarding tokenized fund and UBS Asset Management. They have launched the first tokenized asset investment fund. So we'll definitely go ahead and take a deep dive into this. So quite a lot of cover, guys, in today's episode. And like we do in every Crypto and Coffee Date podcast, we will be looking at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news, guys, is connected to artificial intelligence, and it is to do with the tech giant that is Google. And Google has unveiled Meta's largest AI initiative for Dubai. And last week, guys, in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast, we talked about Google making a similar move in Saudi Arabia, isn't it? So it looks like this time it is Dubai, and this is the largest AI initiative by them. So we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on this news. Now the second news is from the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, and check this out, guys. Two firms that is realized in New Vision Wealth Management, they want to launch tokenized US Treasury Fund. Now this is a really interesting news, isn't it? And them to go ahead and launch this from Abu Dhabi does make it extremely interesting as well. So I'll definitely go ahead and share more information regarding this, and I'll also go ahead and discuss, guys. Now regarding tokenization, guys, I do have a very specific question, so I'll definitely go ahead and pose that question in today's episode as well. And if you're a so-called expert in the tokenization world, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. So quite a lot of cover, guys, in today's episode. Let's get started with it right away. Thank you to our sponsors for being part of the Blockchain DXB journey. Firstly, Advanced Media. Advanced Media, guys, is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well. And Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys. They're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously. And they're focusing on 3 P's. That is people, planet, and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys. They also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE. So definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing, and hosting training workshops, seminars, and community events that educate, inform, and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing. Go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform. Check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, guys, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now, unfortunately, guys, the global cryptocurrency market is on a downtrend, and today the global cryptocurrency market is at $2.24 trillion. Now, just 72 hours ago, guys, there were talks about Bitcoin reaching a new all-time high, but the prices of Bitcoin alone is down by well over $4,000. On the 31st, guys, the price of Bitcoin was around the $72,000 mark, isn't it? But today it is down to $68,649. And look, as I mentioned earlier, the answer to this is pretty simple. It is because of the US election, isn't it? Now, when President Donald Trump gets re-elected, guys, I'm pretty much sure this news will be positive for the price of Bitcoin on the global cryptocurrency market, as well as geopolitical peace, and overall the financial world will be in a much better place, isn't it? So let's see guys what the outcome to the US election is. And look guys, on the 7th of this month, Federal Chair Jerome Powell will be making a decision whether to reduce the interest rate, keep it the same, or go ahead and increase it. Now just few days ago guys, there was some economic data that was released, and looks like for some miraculous reason, the unemployment numbers are looking really good. I'm pretty much sure there's some notorious play regarding update of information, cause last month guys, there's roughly 240,000 jobs that were added, but there was no concrete proof or evidence as to how these jobs were added. Now with US elections coming up, I'm pretty much sure guys, a lot of notorious activity is taking place directly and indirectly, isn't it? So I'll definitely go ahead and cover that when the FOMC meeting is out. Now regarding the global cryptocurrency market guys, since the last 24 hours it is down by 3.63%, and as I mentioned earlier, the global cryptocurrency market stands at $2.24 trillion. Now if you look at the total cryptocurrency market volume guys, it is at $66.86 billion. Now you need to understand guys that I'm recording this podcast in the early hours of Dubai, and technically it is still Sunday in most of the Western countries, and the total cryptocurrency market volume is at $66.86 billion, and since the last 24 hours, it is up by 29.93%. Now what I'd really recommend you to do is guys, you need to look at these numbers and then compare it with the volume of stable coins, because that would give us an idea as to which direction the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies will be heading towards. Unfortunately guys, the volume of stable coins isn't that great, but look guys, today is the 4th of November, and tomorrow, that is the 5th of November, is when the US election is taking place, isn't it? Now in an idealistic world guys, I would really like to see the volume of stable coins crossing the $100 billion mark, because that would actually mean that people are parking a lot of the Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies onto stable coin, and after the US election, and after the FOMC meeting, there could be a possibility that the prices could be pumping up, so definitely keep an eye on the volume of stable coins, and along with that guys, also keep an eye on the 24-hour trading volume. So we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on these numbers. Now if you look at the volume of DeFi guys, unfortunately no matter what is happening in the Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, blockchain, or even the artificial intelligence world, the volume in DeFi is absolutely horrendous. So I'd like to ask this question guys, is decentralized finance dead? Cause look, no matter what happens guys, the volume of decentralized finance is almost half of what it used to be in 2021 and 2022. Today guys, it is only at $3.78 billion, and DeFi as of today is accounting for 5.65% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume, and so far as the total value locked is concerned guys, it is at $85.47 billion. Now so far as Lido is concerned, it is still dominating. So far as total value locked is concerned, it is at $23.86 billion. Now unfortunately guys, decentralized to centralized exchange dominance, today it is only at 18.88%. Last week guys, when the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies were pumping up, decentralized to centralized exchange dominance was well over the 25% mark. Look guys, it should happen exactly the opposite. When the prices of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies are actually going down, theoretically and in an idealistic world, that should be the time when people should be using decentralized exchanges in it. So the cryptocurrency world is absolutely wild, to be honest. I'd really like to see this percentage guys around the 25 to 40% mark, particularly when the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are going down. Now you also need to understand guys, out of this 18.88%, there is a very high chance that a lot of centralized exchanges are using decentralized exchanges. So technically speaking guys, the decentralized to centralized exchange dominance might just be in a single digit. Now so far as the volume of decentralized exchange is concerned, Radium once again is at number 1, and the volume is $1.13 billion. Second guys is Uniswap, and its volume is $1.04 billion. PancakeSwap guys is at number 3rd, its volume is $459.23 million. Aerodrome is at number 4th, its volume is $342.08 million. And at number 5th guys is Orca, its volume is $295.43 million. Now regarding Radium guys, I'm kind of not content with what the numbers are looking at, cause later on guys, I'll be running through the top 5 decentralized apps across all different blockchains, and Radium is clearly leading the pack. But if you look at it in terms of dollar amount, it definitely raises some really interesting questions. So we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on this. Now if you look at the volume of stable coins guys, today it is at $61.85 billion, and as I mentioned earlier, over the next coming days, I would really like to see this number above the $100 billion mark, because that would actually mean that people are parking their cryptocurrencies onto stable coins, isn't it? Let's see guys if that thing does actually happen. Now so far as the volume of stable coins is concerned, today it is accounting for 92.50% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume, and out of the $61.85 billion guys, Tether USDT is leading the pack, and its 24-hour volume is $52.65 billion. Circle USDC is at number 2nd, its volume is $5.21 billion, and FTUSD is at number 3rd, its 24-hour volume is $3.94 billion, and stablecoins guys as of today is accounting for a staggering 92.50% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Now look guys, I'd really like to see the percentage of decentralized finance to be much higher and the volume of stablecoins to be much less, somewhere between the 60% mark to be honest. When will that thing happen? Or really, I'm not sure. Now guys, let's look at the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now Bitcoin's dominance guys is absolutely wild, and today it is up by 60.50%, and Ethereum's dominance guys unfortunately is only at 13.20%. Now if you look at the market cap guys, Ethereum's market cap has suffered miserably. On the episode that was released on the 31st of October, Ethereum's market cap was around the $324 billion mark, but today it has gone below the $300 billion mark once again, and today it is at $294 billion, whereas Bitcoin's market cap guys today is at $1.35 trillion. Now if you look at the 24-hour trading volume, the numbers are not that great. Bitcoin's 24-hour trading volume is $30.98 billion, whereas Ethereum's 24-hour trading volume is $14.39 billion. Now look guys, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, I really am anticipating the 24-hour trading volume to be double, maybe triple of what it is, and I'd really like to see the volume of stablecoins to be increasing. Now this week guys, I will be looking at the top 5 decentralized apps working across all different blockchain protocol. Today guys, what I will be doing is, I'll be looking at the top 5 different blockchains across all different blockchain protocols, and tomorrow we'll break it down into, let's say, Ethereum, the following day Solana, the following day Binance BNB chain, so on and so forth. Now what I'd really recommend you to do is guys, go to dappradar.com and you get sorted based on whatever blockchain you want to look at. But today guys, let's look at the top 5 decentralized apps working across all different blockchain protocol. Now here is where it gets tricky guys. There are different metrics how you want to go ahead and look at these numbers. If you were to look at it in terms of dollar amount, Uniswap version 3 is at number 1, and in terms of dollar amounts in the last 24 hours, it is at $3.25 billion. Now if you look at the balance of it guys, that is the total value of assets in decentralized app smart contract, it is at $325.18 million. Now me personally guys, I'd like to see the number of unique active wallets interacting or performing transaction with decentralized app smart contract over a period of time, and so far as Uniswap version 3 is concerned, it shows as 232,000. Does this mean that there are so many people using the smart contract? Not necessarily. It could also mean that there are so many smart contracts, and in the smart contracts there might be more or less people using the smart contract. But here is where it gets interesting regarding Radium guys, cause look, if you look at it in terms of unique active wallet interactions, Radium is at number 1, but the numbers does not make any sense guys. If you look at the balance, that is the total value of assets in DApp smart contract, it only shows $339,000, and if you look at it in terms of dollar amount, that is the fiat value of incoming token transfers from unique active wallets to decentralized app smart contract over a period of time, it shows only $70,000. Now Radium guys is a decentralized exchange that works solely on Solana blockchain, isn't it? So the numbers just does not make any sense at all. But if you look at the unique active wallets, that is the number of unique active wallets interacting or performing transactions with decentralized app smart contract over a period of time, it shows as 4.22 million. Now look guys, if you look at all these 3 numbers, the numbers is definitely raising a red flag, and I really am not sure if the numbers are absolutely legitimate. Now if I'm mistaken guys, or if I'm not reading the numbers correctly, definitely go ahead and update me on this, because there's some really strong anomaly particularly to do with Radium. Because if you look at other protocols guys, the numbers definitely seems to be making a lot of sense, and since the last 3 weeks guys, if you look at the 24-hour volume of decentralized exchanges, Radium has been well over the $1 billion mark, isn't it? And it has been consistently overtaking the volume of Uniswap as well. So let me know guys what your thoughts regarding Radium. Now going back to the top 5 decentralized apps guys, if you look at it in terms of dollar amount, the second one is Balancer, and the amount is $544.79 million. And if you look at the balance, guys, that is the total value of assets in decentralized app smart contract. It is at $66.51 million. But if you look at the unique active wallet interactions, it is 1,260. Now, this does not mean that there are 1,260 people using it, guys. There is a very high possibility that there are 1,260 smart contracts, and in the smart contracts, there might be hundreds or thousands or fewer people using the smart contract as well. Now, the third one is Uniswap. In terms of dollar amount, it is $374.54 million. But check this out, guys. If you check the total value of assets in decentralized app smart contract, it is only showing as 19 cents, but the unique active wallet interaction is showing as 87,300. Now, the fourth one, guys, is Moonwell. In terms of dollar amount, it is showing as $333.77 million. In terms of balance, guys, that is the total value of assets in decentralized app smart contract. It is showing as $69.48 million. In terms of wallet interactions, it is 1,300. Now, the fifth one, guys, is PancakeSwap version 2. In terms of dollar amount, it is $266.4 million. In terms of balance, it is $55.65 million. And in terms of wallet interactions, it is 43,810. So look, guys, what I'd really recommend you to do is go to tapradar.com, and there are different ways how you can actually sort it. Me personally, guys, I do think that unique active wallet interaction is the best way to look at it, because that would give you an idea as to how many people are actually using the smart contract, isn't it? So let me know, guys, while the numbers of Radium is definitely not looking right, there is a very high possibility I might not be reading the numbers correctly as well. So if you know anything, guys, mention them in the comments below, or alternatively, guys, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Now, in tomorrow's episode, guys, we'll be looking at the top 5 decentralized apps that is working only on Ethereum blockchain, and the following day we'll look at Solana, and the day after that we'll look at Binance BNB chain. Now, guys, let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. And unfortunately, guys, since the last 72 hours, the price of Bitcoin has dumped down a lot, isn't it? Now, on the 31st, guys, there was a possibility of Bitcoin reaching a new all-time high, but the price has gone down by well over $4,000, and today, guys, it is at $68,649, and since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.22%, but since the last 7 days, it is up by 1.32%. Ethereum, guys, is down to $2,451, and since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.61%, and since the last 7 days, it is down by 1.57%. Now look, guys, if you look at the price of Ethereum since the last 3 months, the price is kind of consistent, isn't it? But the market cap tends to fluctuate, and this is because of the burning mechanism. Now, me personally, guys, I very strongly feel that Ethereum's London hard fork, that is the burning mechanism, is definitely a game changer, and that is how the market cap is adjusted relatively faster. And I really am curious to check, guys, if central bank digital currencies do go ahead and implement a burning mechanism, because that would be a shortcut way to manage inflation, isn't it? So what I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, try to understand what Ethereum's London hard fork upgrade is, and then go ahead and ask this question, can central bank digital currency go ahead and implement that as well? And the answer to that is yes, and that is a one-stop solution to go ahead and manage inflation. Now, regarding Ethereum, guys, since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.61%, and since the last 7 days, it is down by 1.57%. Binance BNB coin, guys, is well below the $600 mark. The date is at $556, and since the last 24 hours, it is down by 2.24%, and since the last 7 days, it is down by 5.04%. Now look, guys, since the last few days, Michael Saylor is in the news, isn't it? And MicroStrategy's Q3 2024 financial report does actually highlight its ongoing commitment to expanding Bitcoin holding, and this is part of the long-term capital strategy that is aimed at increasing shareholder value. And Michael Saylor, guys, did actually mention this via his Twitter or X account, and the company now plans to have a 2021 plan, and this marks an ambitious capital raise goal of $42 billion over the next 3 years. Now here's the interesting thing to remember, guys. This will be divided into 2 main streams: $21 billion in equity via the at-the-market or ATM equity offering, and the second $21 billion, guys, will be through fixed income securities, and this capital will support additional Bitcoin purchases as MicroStrategy builds on its role as a Bitcoin treasury company. So what I want to do is, guys, I want to go ahead and share more information regarding this, because MicroStrategy has introduced something called as BTC Yield, which is a key performance indicator to evaluate the efficiency of performance of Bitcoin strategy, and for quarter 3 of 2024 guys, it achieved 5.1% BTC yield, raising its year BTC yield to 17.8%, and the company now targets a BTC yield of 6% to 10% annually between 2025 and 2027, which would be sustained through strategic acquisition of Bitcoin and intelligent capital allocation, and this indicator essentially reflects the growth in Bitcoin holdings per outstanding share of common stock. Now it is important to note guys that the BTC yield isn't a traditional yield measure like a dividend yield let's say, but rather a way to gauge growth in Bitcoin asset relative to share dilution. Now regarding the 2021 plan for capital expansion, MicroStrategy plans to raise $42 billion over the next 3 years through an equal split of $21 billion in equity as well as fixed income securities. Now this is a really bold strategy to fund Bitcoin purchases because this program could increase both the company's Bitcoin reserve as well as its market presence as the Bitcoin treasury leader. Now it's really important to note guys that MicroStrategy has already issued and sold 8 million shares of its Class A common stocks, generating $1.1 billion in proceeds, and under its new ATM that is at the market equity offering, it aims to raise an additional $21 billion, providing flexibility to issue shares based on market conditions. And as of 30th of September 2024, MicroStrategy held approximately 252,220 Bitcoin, which is valued at around $6.85 billion, and this is based on the cost of nearly $16 billion at current market rates. This reflects an average purchase price of $39,266 per Bitcoin, compared to the current price of $68,649 as of today, isn't it? Now in September 2024 guys, MicroStrategy issued $1.01 billion in convertible senior notes with a low of 0.625% interest rate and an initial conversion price of $183.19 per share, and this is part of its ongoing strategy to use low interest debt to acquire Bitcoin while managing cost. Now look guys, MicroStrategy continues to position itself as a leader in both digital asset space and enterprise analytics, with future plans that hinge on Bitcoin's strategic role as a treasury asset, and the company's adoption of a non-GAAP measures to exclude non-cash expenses and foreign exchange fluctuations further underscores its view as Bitcoin as a transformative part of its business, isn't it? Now MicroStrategy's strategic Bitcoin KPI and ambitious 2021 plan guys underscores its commitment to drive value through its Bitcoin reserve strategy, and with the combination of aggressive capital raising, careful leverage management, and a long-term view on Bitcoin's role in digital capital, the company is seeking to enhance shareholder value and reinforce its leadership position in Bitcoin and digital asset space. So look guys, what I want to do is, I want to get in touch based on the potential implication of this news, because MicroStrategy's large Bitcoin holding reinforces its reputation as one of the most committed institutional Bitcoin investor, and this could attract Bitcoin enthusiasts and investors looking for exposure to Bitcoin in the equities market, and this definitely has a lot of potential for high returns if Bitcoin appreciates, isn't it? And the increase in Bitcoin's market value over the company's average purchase price definitely demonstrates the potential for substantial returns if the Bitcoin prices rises in the future. And as MicroStrategy accumulates more Bitcoin guys, shareholders could benefit from a future Bitcoin price surge. Now regarding long-term shareholder value focus guys, the BTC yield matrix which I mentioned earlier definitely aligns with shareholders' interest as it reflects its growth in Bitcoin asset relative to share dilution. This means guys that this matrix can attract long-term investors who are looking for unique capital appreciation opportunities tied to Bitcoin performance, isn't it? Now regarding the 2021 plan guys, it does provide capital flexibility through equity and debt offerings, thereby enabling MicroStrategy to scale its Bitcoin holdings, and the at-the-market equity offering also allows the company to issue shares strategically, taking advantage of favorable market conditions, and this is beneficial for debt refinancing benefits as well, isn't it? Because I very strongly feel guys, by issuing low-interest convertible notes and redeeming higher-interest debts, MicroStrategy saves on annual interest expenses, and this efficient debt management could enhance profitability over time, especially if Bitcoin appreciates and helps offset the company's interest obligations. And look guys, because of this genius move, MicroStrategy is broadening the investor base through stock split, isn't it? And the 10-for-1 stock split made MicroStrategy more accessible to retail investors, potentially increasing liquidity and market participation, and this may draw new investors interested in gaining indirect exposure to Bitcoin. Now look guys, MicroStrategy's focus on Bitcoin as a treasury asset could definitely set a precedent for other corporations. Now we know Meta Planet in Japan is doing something similar, and I'm pretty much sure for other institutions especially those considering diversification strategies or using digital asset as inflation hedges, will be following a similar pursuit, isn't it? But look guys, there could be negative implications for this as well. So let's talk about increased financial risk on Bitcoin volatility. Now just 72 hours ago guys, the price of Bitcoin was around the $72,000 mark, isn't it? And there was indication that Bitcoin could have reached a new all-time high, but the prices have gone down by $4,000, and I very strongly feel guys, Bitcoin's high price volatility subjects MicroStrategy to significant financial risk, and if Bitcoin prices falls, the company could face more impairment losses and reduce asset value, directly impacting its financial health and investor confidence. And what about high debt levels and interest commitment guys? It's really important to understand, although the convertible notes have low interest, MicroStrategy's aggressive borrowing to fund Bitcoin purchases increases its leverage, which could be challenging if Bitcoin's value declines or if the company faces cash flows issues in the near future, and also cause the continuous issuance of new shares under the at-the-market offering dilutes existing shareholders, which may actually lead to reduced per share value unless Bitcoin appreciates significantly, and shareholders who are not interested in Bitcoin as such may view the dilution unfavorably. Now look guys, with Bitcoin reaching a new all-time high and with US elections coming up, there is potential of regulatory risk as well as in it, and increasing government scrutiny and regulatory changes in the digital asset space could affect Bitcoin's value and accessibility, and any negative regulatory development could actually harm MicroStrategy's Bitcoin strategy, resulting in asset depreciation or limitation on future acquisition. And what about MicroStrategy's main business guys? This is an operational distraction from its core business, isn't it? And the emphasis on Bitcoin acquisition might distract MicroStrategy's core business of enterprise analytics, and the company's decline in software revenue and margins suggests that this focus could weaken its competitiveness and growth in the analytics industry. And you also need to think about losses in impairment expenses, isn't it? And significant losses in Q3 of 2024, primarily due to Bitcoin impairment, underscore the risk of high exposure of digital assets. An impairment reflects Bitcoin current valuation volatility, leading to negative impact on the company's financial statements, which could actually deter traditional investors. And finally guys, what about the speculative nature of BTC Yield KPI? Because it's really important to understand guys, the BTC Yield metric, while innovative, may be viewed as speculative since it hinges on Bitcoin's price trajectory and share issuance, and some investors guys might find that this metric unconventional or potentially misleading compared to traditional yield or performance indicators. So look guys, overall I very strongly feel that MicroStrategy's strategy of expanding Bitcoin holding definitely offers potential high rewards, but at the same time carries notable risk, especially given price volatility and the financial burden of increased debt and shareholder dilution. And the company's unconventional treasury strategy may actually appeal to investors who are seeking exposure to digital assets, but may alienate those who prioritize stability and traditional business performance. So let me know guys, what are your thoughts regarding this? Do you think it is a game changer? And will other investors and companies follow a similar pursuit? Now guys, let's go ahead and discuss some unfortunate news regarding M2 exchange. And what happened guys on 31st of October, M2 unfortunately experienced a cybersecurity incident involving a $13.7 million breach, but this was quickly resolved at 3:32 a.m. Now it's really important to note guys that the situation has been fully resolved and customer funds has been restored as well, and M2 guys has taken full responsibility for any potential losses and has implemented additional security measures, and all services are now operational, and the company remains committed to high security and compliance standards and is cooperating with legal and regulatory authorities to address the incident thoroughly. Now if I'm not mistaken guys, M2 has recently announced a new CEO, that is Sardine Zahir, and the previous CEO, that is Steven Kemal, did actually resign from the post of CEO, and it is really interesting timing for this to happen, isn't it? So definitely unfortunate news for them, but it's great that this thing has been solved, isn't it? And more importantly, that the customers have not faced any financial loss. Now guys, let's go ahead and discuss some news regarding Ripple's XRP ETF and Swiss ETF issuer, that is 21 shares. They have filed an S1 form with US Securities and Exchange Commission to go ahead and launch a spot fund that tracks the price of XRP. Now the filing guys with the US Securities and Exchange Commission can be found in the show notes below. Now look guys, I really am not sure if this thing could be approved or not, because right now there's still drama going on between Ripple and XRP, isn't it? And last week guys, I did go ahead and update on some drama between Ripple and XRP, and hopefully by 2025 guys, the drama between Ripple and XRP comes to an end. Now regarding Ripple guys, there's a really interesting data that has been out, and Ripple has reserved an unprecedented 470 million XRP for sale. But check this out, guys. This marks its largest dump in 7 years, and on November 1st, guys, Ripple conducted a sell-off that marked a departure from its usual escrow routine. Now normally, guys, Ripple sets around 200 million XRP from the 1 billion unlocked every month. However, this month, an extra 270 million XRP were transferred to Ripple One, that is the account designated for monthly sales. Now if you do want to check all the details, guys, this particular article is published via Daily Coin, and the details to that is in the show notes below, and they put a screenshot of all the transfers as well. Definitely interesting drama, to be honest. Now guys, let's go and discuss some news regarding tokenized fund and UBS Asset Management. They have launched the UBS USD Money Market Investment Fund, and the ticker symbol for that, guys, is UMINT. That is U for umbrella, M for mother, I for India, N for Nancy, and T for Tango, and they're doing that on Ethereum blockchain, and they are catering to the growing demand for tokenized financial assets. And this fund, guys, offers institutional grade cash management solution and is part of UBS's strategy to expand its digital asset services to UBS Tokenize. Now regarding tokenization, guys, I do have very specific question. The first one is, when we talk about real world asset tokenization, you need to go ahead and do the KYC, isn't it? At this point of time, I really am not sure how the KYC and AML will be done on an open blockchain, let's say like Ethereum, Binance BNB chain, or Solana blockchain. Now look, guys, you should know by now that there is nothing called as permission blockchain. Another word for permission blockchain is a software, or even worse, you can also do all those things in an Excel spreadsheet. Now the follow-up question regarding the KYC is, what happens on the secondary market? So let's say, guys, if I have a real world asset which is tokenized, what happens if I sell that token to a person who is from a sanctioned countries? Where does regulatory framework kick in? Or really, I'm not sure what the answer to that is. Now, if you're an expert in the so-called tokenization world, mention them in the comments below, or even better, guys, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com, because I'd definitely like to know more information regarding this. So those were the news, guys, from the cryptocurrency and blockchain world. Now let's look at two news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. And the first one, guys, is definitely a massive one. And Google has unveiled MENA's largest AI initiative from Dubai. So let me go ahead and share more information regarding this, because Google, guys, they launched the AI Opportunity Initiative for MENA region, and it is the largest AI initiative in the region from Dubai. An economics impact estimate that AI could add $320 billion in the MENA's economic growth by 2030. And Google.org, guys, will invest $15 million in MENA through 2027. And this is to support AI-driven opportunities. And this initiative, guys, aims to upskill 500,000 individuals in AI within 2 years. And Google has trained 3 million people on digital skills in the MENA region since 2018. And a new AI curriculum in Arabic will be available through Google's Maharatman Google, as well as in Coursera as well. And Village Capital received funding to support underserved communities, including women, youth, and migrants as well. And Raspberry Pi's Foundation Experience AI program will offer AI literacy for students aged between 11 to 14 in Arabic. And along with that, guys, Amidish will also partner with AI literacy program in UAE and Saudi Arabia. And Google.org's AI Research Fund will support MENA universities working on AI in healthcare, climate change, and education. And Start AD, guys, which is backed by Google.org, will work on the application for healthcare access in the UAE and Saudi Arabia. And Google's Gemini Assistant, guys, which is launched in Arabic, understands over 16 Arabic dialects. This is absolutely genius, isn't it? And Gemini, guys, offers personalized AI experts, age-appropriate features for teens, and image generation in Arabic as well. And Google Cloud is expanding infrastructure in the MENA region, including data centers in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Kuwait. And last week, guys, in the Crypto and Coffee Date podcast, I went ahead and discussed their move in Saudi Arabia, isn't it? And the partnership with Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund will create an AI hub in Daman to support AI research and job creation. And AI investment, guys, will also focus on Arabic language model deployment and upskill program. And Google's product has generated $12.8 billion in economic activity in UAE and Saudi Arabia last year, with $14.2 billion expected in 2024. And the AI Connect event in Dubai, guys, featured Ruth Parath and UAE Minister Omar Sultan Al Rama, with government, businesses, and tech leaders in attendance. So look, guys, I wouldn't be surprised So far as artificial intelligence is concerned, Middle East will turn out to be the leader probably in the next 3 to 5 years, isn't it? So it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, how the Western countries will be reacting to this news. Now, the second news, guys, is another positive news. In Abu Dhabi, firms realize in New Vision Wealth Management, they want to launch tokenized US Treasury funds. So let me go ahead and share more information regarding this, because this news was actually published via Reuters. And regarding the fund, guys, they have named the fund as the Realized T-Bills Fund, and the fund will buy units of ETFs like BlackRock's iShares, as well as State Street's SPDR, and the acquired ETF units will be tokenized into digital assets that can be held, traded, and transferred on a blockchain. But this goes back to the question that I had regarding tokenization, isn't it? So it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, how they are able to solve the tokenization questions. Now, Realize, guys, will handle the tokenization process, while New Vision Wealth Management will manage the fund, and the fund, guys, aims to reach a 200 million target size, and the tokenized assets will be issued under the ticker symbol RBL token, representing units of Realized T-Bills Fund, and the tokens, guys, will be initially launched on both the IOTA and the Ethereum blockchain network. And tokenized treasuries are a growing trend in the cryptocurrency market, isn't it? With a market cap of $2.4 billion, and mostly it is on Ethereum blockchain. Now, these digital tokens, guys, are backed by US government debt and are gaining popularity among both blockchain native funds as well as traditional institutions. And BlackRock and Franklin Templeton are notable traditional institutions who are issuing tokenized treasuries. And in March, guys, BlackRock launched its own tokenized funds that is called as Petal on Ethereum, and they are focusing on cash US treasuries as well as repos with a market cap of $530 million. And Dominic Shainer, who is the co-founder of Realize, has emphasized the importance of bringing liquid assets like T-bills on chain, and he also highlighted that T-bills are highly liquid assets with around 5% yield, making them ideal for on-chain collateral. And Dr. Ryan Lemond, who is the CEO of New Vision, said that tokenizing T-bill ETFs is cost-effective compared to purchasing treasury bills directly, and he also noted that directly buying treasury bills would incur high ongoing transaction cost. Now, the Realized T-Bills Fund, guys, is the first tokenized treasury fund to be domiciled in the Abu Dhabi global market, and the fund aims to provide investors with blockchain-based access to traditional, low-risk treasury assets. And the initiative, guys, highlights a shift towards tokenizing real-world assets like T-bills to create on-chain investment opportunities. Now, look, guys, the whole hype regarding tokenization is only because of Larry Fink, because after the spot Bitcoin got ETF approved, he did actually go to CNBC, and he did actually state that he's not too concerned about the spot Bitcoin ETF, rather he's focusing on tokenization. And immediately, guys, when I saw that, I mentioned it in my Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast, that tokenization will be the new hype, isn't it? But look, guys, I do have 2 questions regarding tokenization. If you know the answer to that, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. So those were the news, guys, from the cryptocurrency, blockchain, and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes, it's going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's get started with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXB. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a question by Dan who asks, MicroStrategy's bold capital raise for Bitcoin has sparked debate. Do you think other companies could adopt a similar strategy? Now look, me personally, I'm definitely not a fan of Michael Saylor, because on his Twitter account regarding Bitcoin, he definitely provides quite a lot of misleading or fake news information, but his gamble regarding MicroStrategy buying a lot of Bitcoin is definitely turning out to be beneficial, isn't it? Now, as much as I dislike saying it, right now when you talk about Bitcoin, it has just become a play for multi-billionaires, trillion-dollar companies, isn't it? So keeping that thing in mind, and with the intention of why Bitcoin was created, I'm not kind of content with what MicroStrategy or trillion-dollar companies are doing. But at the same time, when you talk about Austrian economics, one of the drawbacks about Austrian economics is monopoly, isn't it? And they definitely have every right to do whatever they want. Now Dan, I very strongly feel that MicroStrategy's capital raise and massive Bitcoin holdings have definitely positioned themselves as a frontrunner in the Bitcoin space, isn't it? Showcasing both the appeal and volatility of such a strategy. And I do feel that with companies or even governments who have a robust financial reserve and a high risk tolerance, they could go ahead and adopt a similar strategy, and that could enhance their asset base, and it could serve as a hedge against inflation, isn't it? And that way they're diversifying their holdings away from traditional fiat. However, here's where it gets interesting. The key to success of MicroStrategy lies only in one person, that is Michael Saylor, isn't it? What happened, let's say, due to unfortunate circumstances, he does actually pass away. I'm pretty much sure that would indirectly impact the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it? Now, Dan, most companies don't have the combination of visionary leadership as well as risk tolerance and liquidity to support such an aggressive play. Now, MetaPlay from Japan is definitely doing that, and a full commitment to Bitcoin could expose them to market swings, which could risk destabilizing the cash flows, investor confidence, and regulatory pressures. So I very strongly feel, Dan, that while other companies could certainly explore integrating Bitcoin into the portfolios, a more balanced approach, allocating a modest percentage to Bitcoin while keeping the bulk in more stable assets, would likely offer greater resilience against volatility. But again, what I'm saying is definitely not financial advice, because look, Dan, MicroStrategy's boldness is definitely admirable, but not necessarily a one-size-fits-all approach, isn't it? And as I mentioned earlier, what if something notoriously goes wrong, let's say with Michael Saylor or even MicroStrategy, that would have negative consequences, isn't it? And right now there is some drama going on regarding Michael Saylor, where he's actually not advocating for self-custody as well. So it looks like a lot of Bitcoin maximalists are not happy about it as well. But definitely an interesting question. And that's about all, guys, on the Ask Me Anything series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto with Coffee podcast, where we cover top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other day news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and the Middle East, from the cryptocurrency, blockchain and now artificial intelligence world as well. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.